Welcome to the Temple of Iron, my sanctuary of discipline. My name is Josh Selledge. I am the BJJ strength coach, and I'm here to talk to you guys about the biggest bang for your buck, home gym essentials, the last pieces of training equipment you'll ever need. Essentially, I'm going to give you guys a little tour of my garage gym and some pieces of equipment that I suggest everybody invest in, and things that really give you the biggest bang for your buck and things that can help you really enhance your grappling performance, whether that's in wrestling, whether that's in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And they're pretty inexpensive. You could use them at home, and they're great for times like these where we're under quarantine. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is a band. A band is huge. I have a couple of different bands here. I have a thick band. You can get these bands from EliteFTS.com or RogueFitness.com. I have a couple from Elite FTS, I think I have a couple from Rogue Fitness. And really what's great about a band is that you can, as long as you can set an anchor point, which a lot of times can just be standing on it, you can get a great workout. You can do essentially any movement you can do with a dumbbell, you can use a band, say for a couple like really explosive movements like cleans and stuff. But it's great for accessory work. Bands are awesome for mobilizations and warming up. What's also great about bands is the fact that they're lightweight and that you could really crush yourself with bands, but it's not going to beat you up as bad as if you're using straight weight. And the reason why that is because bands are accommodating resistance. And accommodating resistance essentially means that weight is heavier at the top of the movement and lighter at the bottom. So as you're in your most compromised position, right? So say you're doing a squat. The hardest part of the squat is at the bottom. And so as you lower yourself down with the bands, the band tension is going to get a little bit easier. But then as you start to come up, the band tension and the resistance that you're going to feel is going to increase until you're at the strongest point of the lift, which is the very top. So if you're doing things like tricep pushdowns, it's great for getting blood flow into your elbows, and it doesn't beat your joints up as much as compared to if you were going to do something like a skull crusher, a tricep pushdown with a cable machine, things like that. So bands are an awesome tool that you can use to enhance your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu performance and build some muscle, build some strength, as well as mobilize and do a lot of rehab work. So bands are awesome. They're fairly inexpensive. Again, I'll put the links in the description of this video, but you can get those at RogueFitness.com or EliteFTS.com. The second thing that I would suggest you guys take a look at, I'll get back into the light here, would be these fat grips. I don't recall how much these fat grips are because they were a gift to me by my girlfriend. However, fat grips are just really anything that you can do to strengthen your grip is going to help your jiu-jitsu game. It's going to help your wrestling game. And if you could use something that's fairly inexpensive, these got to be less than 50 bucks. If you can use something that's fairly inexpensive, easy to travel with, and something that you can just set up anywhere, these fat grips are going to be perfect for you. So this is the standard fat grip. They have a thicker one that I believe is 2 inches thick. I think this one is 1.5 inches in diameter. You can attach this to barbells, you can attach this to dumbbells, you can attach this thing, you can even attach it to bands, and so that way you have a handle that you could use, and it's fatter, right? It's closer related to the size of somebody's wrist than the size of a 3/4 inch barbell, or however thick the bar is that you're using, or the handle that you're using on a dumbbell, and things like that. So fat grips are going to be the second piece of equipment I suggest you guys get. What's great about those, like I mentioned, is that you could use the bands and the fat grips together. You can do tricep pushdowns, you can do rows, and not only train your grip in an awesome way, and also train your forearms, get your forearms jacked like that. The third thing that I would suggest you guys invest in, this is going to be a little bit more expensive, is going to be a set of rings. Rings are awesome because you can travel with them anywhere. I've taken them on vacation with me before. Last time I went to Hawaii, I packed these rings with me. I just set them up on a crossbeam, or you can take them to the park. I've done that too. You just set them up. You can do pull-ups, bodyweight rows, push-ups, dips, handstands, muscle-ups, chin-ups. You can do rear delt exercises. You can do back exercises. You can do tricep skull crushers. Essentially you're traveling with a pull-up bar, and you're traveling with a pull-up bar, dip bar, a place to do push-ups, a place to do rows. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do with these rings. I have the wood ones. I like the wood ones because you don't need as much chalk. And in the summertime, when it gets really hot, it's nice to not have to grab on to something that's really hot, especially when your hand's sweaty. The wood kind of helps absorb some of the sweat a little bit. You can really grab on there. Again, get jacked forearms and but yeah, you can just do a lot of awesome bodyweight exercises that are great for jiu-jitsu, great for wrestling. Some of my favorites would be dips. Ring dips are incredible. I love ring dips. Pull-ups on the rings are awesome. And a quick tip about doing pull-ups on the rings, if you want to strengthen your collar ties, you can do false grip pull-ups. So a normal pull-up, right, you hold the ring like this or hold the bar like this. If you want to strengthen your collar ties, so when you're clubbing somebody's head or trying to control their neck, things like that, you can do a false grip, which essentially you're just going to turn your palm inside like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to try to have your wrist bone be, if the ring was the face of a clock, your wrist bone is going to be 6 o'clock and your thumb is going to be closer to 9 o'clock. And what this does is it forces that bend in your wrist, and you have to hold your body weight and hold your position while keeping your wrist in this fixed position here. And if you notice, that's very similar to a collar tie position that you would find in jiu-jitsu and in wrestling. The fourth and final piece of equipment that I suggest Brazilian jiu-jitsu athletes and wrestling athletes invest in, and depending on what weight you get, it's going to be the most expensive. It's going to be even more expensive than the rings. Is going to be a kettlebell. And what's great about kettlebells, whoosh, I have a 35-pound kettlebell right here. Is it not heavy? I mean, is it a light kettlebell, relatively speaking? Yes, it is, but I can use it for a lot of different things. And what's great about it is that I can do overhead work, I can do swings, I can do snatches, I can do cleans, I can do goblet squats, front squats, carries, all sorts of stuff with just one kettlebell. And the reason why I suggest if somebody were going to invest in a kettlebell, a singular kettlebell over one pair of dumbbells, is because the versatility that a kettlebell has. You can use a kettlebell for a lot of different movements and get really, really strong in a lot of the stabilizing muscles involved with using a kettlebell, because the weight, it doesn't sit evenly on either side of your hand, right? It kind of falls to one side due to the oblong nature, I guess you could say, of the kettlebell. So if you were going to invest in one piece of equipment, I would pick the kettlebell over the dumbbell, because you can do cleans, you can do squats, you can do snatches. Sure, you can do all those things with dumbbells, but because the kettlebell, you're able to do kettlebell swings, kettlebell snatches, and do a couple other various exercises that train your core, some of the stabilizing muscles in your shoulders and your back a little bit differently. I think that's a better benefit, and you get a bigger bang for your buck than if you were to just invest in one pair of dumbbells. I'm not saying I don't like dumbbells, because I actually love dumbbells. If I have a full set of dumbbells, I would much rather use the full set of dumbbells over a set of kettlebells. That's personal preference for me, but we're just talking about pieces of equipment that you guys can get and invest in that are really simple, that don't take up a lot of space, that aren't very expensive, and that when used properly, you're going to be able to enhance your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game, enhance your wrestling physicality. Okay guys, I apologize. There is one more essential piece of equipment that I believe every Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athlete needs to invest in. I was editing this video and I completely forgot. I completely spaced out and forgot to include this in there. I know you're probably thinking like, well, how essential could it be, bro, if you're forgetting about it? It's like, well, we all make mistakes. I forgot. All right, so consider this a bonus piece of equipment, and that is going to be the Slingshot hip circle. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking like, well, of course you would plug Slingshot because you work for them. It's like, yes, I do. And the reason why I work for them is because I've looked up to them as a company for many, many, many years, and I've been a fan and customer of their products for many, many, many years before that. So this is the first hip circle I ever got. I got this in 2015. I use it for all of my jiu-jitsu warm-ups, all of my wrestling warm-ups. Anytime my wrestling athletes have back pain or they're having trouble activating a certain muscle group and something feels tight, I'll have them go through a lot of mobility exercises, and a lot of times I'll throw a hip circle on them just so they can learn how to warm up their hips, warm up their adductors, warm up their glutes. It can get a solid bodyweight workout with some added resistance with the hip circle. Now, what's great about the hip circle is that you can do a lot of movements that are going to translate well to wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Things like squatting, lunging, bridging, glute bridging, single leg glute bridges, clamshells, all these different exercises that train your hips and your butt. Muscle groups that are very important for grappling, wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all that good stuff. But if you don't know, there is a secret use for the hip circle, especially in these times of quarantine. So if you see here, I got myself a band. If you need to do a like cable face pulls, and you can use a band for banded cable face pulls, but if you need something as a handle, you just throw your hip circle in there, and then now you have a handle. You can grab either end, do cable face pulls, almost treat it like a rope handle. You can do rope extensions or tricep push downs on it with changing the hand position. You can push with your palms down instead of pushing with your palms sideways if you were to do a regular banded tricep push down. So the hip circle is a great, amazing piece of equipment that you guys can use to enhance your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game, enhance your wrestling game. That being said, I'm here to help you guys out. I want to see you guys be successful. I want to see you guys be able to get stronger and enhance your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, enhance your wrestling game during this time of quarantine. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video, share the video. I don't know. I'm pretty new to YouTube, so if you guys got tips and pieces of advice for me, do put those in the comments. I have thick skin, so we'll see how it goes. That's all I got for you guys today.